Oh snap, I'm live. Oh goodness. Oh my goodness. How y'all doing, y'all? It's not a talking about Club Defe do Theater again. Walking again through my favorite building, checking all the doors, ensuring that there's no evidence of criminal activity, vagrancy, or heck any of the other stuff I usually say when I'm doing the report. And I'm talking about something today that is very important to talk about. And this thing that we're gonna talk about right now is initiation. Something that comes up all the time. So, one of the things you'll learn in ATRs is that people hate, absolutely hate hierarchy. They hate hierarchy. They hate uh, submitting to the authority of someone else. They hate for somebody to tell them that they know something that they don't know, that they have access to something that they don't have access to. Absolutely hate it. They can't stand it. Drives them batty. Like, insanely batty. Folks get up in all kinds out of shape. You mess around and tell somebody, hey, I know how to do this, and you can't do it. They get just downright indignant. So, when you go to telling somebody that you're initiated into whatever your mystery system is, but I'm going to stick to the one that I know about because it's the one I'm initiated in. You go tell folks that you're initiated, and they get to feeling some kind of way. Let me tell you what initiation is and isn't it. And I'm going to start off with what it isn't. What initiation is not is an assertion that my quality of humanity is greater than yours. That's not what initiation is. Initiation is not the assertion that God likes me more than he likes you. It's not what it is. It's not what it's ever been. What initiation says is that this person has been tapped on the shoulder by the gods to convey to be the vessel of their power in a given situation, under a given circumstance. So, for example, if I'm initiated to Voodoo Dan, if I'm initiated to Voodoo Dan, Dan has revealed to me its mysteries. Dan has revealed to me his mysteries, and Dan intends for me to perform in accordance to certain standards that Dan has outlined. My value to Dan is in the initiation. My value to you is in the initiation. And if you understand what that means, then you can take advantage. That's work you don't have to do because somebody else did it for you. That's what that means. That's what initiation is. Validation. Being initiated means my service to the gods has been validated by the gods. And that validation was witnessed by the attendees of the ceremonies. I know that my initiation was good, and there are many, many people who can validate that I was indeed initiated because they saw it. They saw the acceptance. They were present. You do not have to take on faith You do not have to take on faith that I represent the powers that I say I do. That's why initiation. That's what initiation is good for. Initiation doesn't mean that you have. Initiation doesn't give you spiritual power, first off. It doesn't give you spiritual power. If you didn't show up with any spiritual power, you won't get none. You won't have none now that you're initiated. Believe me when I tell you. Who you are and what you are to the gods has already been defined. It's already been written. There's no need to reinvent the wheel. That conversation has already been had. Who you are is already determined. What initiation does is give you authority. And that's something that you can't be born with. Now, let me be clear. The gods prefer to call people from lineages because lineages traffic power. Lineage, blood traffics power. Power travels through the generations. Parent to child, mother, father to child. That's how it moves. That spiritual power that moves that way. If you got a gift, your mom and daddy probably got one. They may or may not know it, may or may not admit it, but they got it. And so you may be descended from power. And the spirits call those who are descended from power. But initiation is the coronation of that power. It's the recognition of that power to the spirits. When you're initiated, all the spirits from any pantheon, led by Mami, Oshun, Zeus, any pantheon, Asian, any pantheon, will look at you and say, yo, this person is a monarch. This person is legitimate. This person is not to be underestimated or regarded poorly. Because this person has been presented to the spirit world. And we will recognize this person's authority. All of them will do it. All of them. They won't put you above their own, above their children, above the ones that they expressly chose to guard and guide. Above, and definitely not above the ones that they chose to initiate. But they will recognize you, and they will treat you accordingly. If I go to a Hindu temple and I show proper deference and present according to their ways, not the ways of the Hindus, but the ways of those spirits, presumably those are the same, but they ain't necessarily. And I present according to those ways. What you think is gonna happen? They're gonna acknowledge me. Oh, Adedufira, we greet you. We have heard about you. That's why you get initiated. I had one guy say, I talked to a while back, I'm Gnostic. That's the greatest validation you can have. Oh, okay. Okay. You know. But nobody else knows what you know. That's no validation. And it doesn't even challenge whether or not he can do or see or know the things he claims to do, see, or know. But if you're not initiated, why should any spirit pay any attention to you? If you're not initiated, why should anybody pay attention to you? How do I know you really can do and see and understand the things you say you can? How would I know that? Who saw you get touched by the gods? Who witnessed your ascendancy? Did you even ascend? In short, are you authentic? If you ain't got no initiation, then the answer is like Alicia Keys. No one, no one, no one. And that's unfortunate because there's a lot of the power is existing in our community. I'm mostly talking to my American Africans who have been here for 5 or 6 generations. All right. Many of us are the descendants of political prisoners, dissidents, priests who would not validate the reign of an unjust king, kings who would not step off the throne or defer to the rulership of colonial power, or kings who would not submit, or elders who would not submit to the excesses of unrighteous kings. Initiation gives you that. Nothing was as impressive to me than experiencing the passion play that was my ancestral inheritance. My ancestry, my very own Game of Thrones. But I ain't gonna talk about me right now. I'm gonna talk about being initiated and why it's important. So, do you have to initiate to practice? No. No, you do not. I don't even recommend it. I don't recommend initiation for anybody. I didn't want it for myself, to be perfectly honest. Initiation was something that was thrust on me. It's something I had to do. I didn't have a choice. I had to get initiated. What did I want to do? I wanted to practice my faith, the one that was for my people, that I didn't have to elevate an entire group above me in order to get close to God. That's what I wanted to do. And what happened instead was the God said, well, this is what we made you for in the first place. So, there you go. Let me see this. But no, you don't have to initiate to serve, right? That's not even what it's supposed to be. You're supposed to be able to follow your vocational dream and do that without concern about anything spiritual, as long as you went, made sure you went to the priest and got whatever you needed to get taken care of, took care of. Ancestors would guide each and every individual directly. And if there was a issue that was particularly complex or involved, then you'd have a priest like me to go to for those difficult situations. But because you only got one life to live and a very, very small amount of time to live it in, they said focus on what you're here for, not other things. So no, you're not supposed to be initiated. except when you initiate into your vocation. It's a totally different conversation. Totally different conversation. But to be initiated as a priest? No, it's not for everybody. Everybody shouldn't be doing it. But it also doesn't mean it also means that you respect the office of the priest because of what they do. You go to be a daggone scientist. You may be constantly learning your whole life, but you're not constantly going to college. When you're a priest, you are constantly in the temple, getting your head lumped up, learning a new lesson. And your lessons may start with a person, but the real teaching comes from the spirits themselves. And those guys don't know the meaning of the word subtlety. They either ain't loud enough or they too damn loud. Trust me when I tell you. When a spirit goes to educate you behind about something, they write it in your viscera, deep down in your guts. So, initiation is not for everybody, but you have to respect those that are initiated. Not because there's a law out there that says you got to, because if you don't, you lose the benefit of them being here in the first place, because they have purpose. So respect the initiation, recognize its necessity, so that you can benefit from those that are put on that path, and you can better find and serve your own. And that's it. That's the long and short of it, people. This is Nana Togo Messia Blaklu Defiade Dufira telling you, for God's sake, people, be good to each other. Love your neighbor. Oops. Love your neighbor. And be of good character. This is Nana Ade Dufira signing off.